So I just thought I would go off the script on this one and just address what happened since the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy outrage took place from the 1st of January 2024. And obviously we all know what happened, right? Disney announced, oh, we have Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, this...
Recognize that and recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable. And
inexperienced director directing the next Star Wars movie. And the internet lost its mind.
My head just exploded.
The outrage machine did what it does.
And they are outraged.
Well, we are outraged.
And all of a sudden, a few days later, Disney Lucasfilm announced that, oh no, we are now doing a Mandalorian movie and we are also going ahead with Ahsoka Season 2.
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
Now, most people on the internet were able to see through what those announcements were and accurately describe them as desperation and Disney trying to change the news cycle, trying to change the narrative. But what I also realized in that was, it really made me think that maybe it's possible.
I was wondering, possibly,
that some Hollywood execs, people like Kathleen Kennedy, maybe they're not doing all this ESG score stuff, this DEI stuff because they're trying to get liquidity from these big companies. But maybe they've really bought in. Maybe they really are disciples and acolytes of this ideology. That's really what has sort of come to my mind since this whole drama took place. Because think about it, we've all sort of questioned, do these Hollywood execs, does Hollywood actually hear the fans, right? Or is Hollywood existing in this sort of hyper bubble that they're in and they do not listen to anyone's opinion on anything?
Cover your little ears, okay?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
using it.
You're doing it? You're doing it?
But now, what I realized with the drama that happened with the whole Obaid-Chinoy thing is that they do hear the fans. I mean, clearly. And they hear them so much that they're willing to give them a bone, right? Like, oh no, just tell them that, oh no, the Mandalorian movie is coming. Or just tell them that Ahsoka Season 2 is coming. That'll get them to quiet down. Whilst they still go ahead with the same thing that started the controversy and drama to begin with. They have not fired Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. They are still going ahead with a Rey Skywalker movie, actually Rey Palpatine movie. They're still doing that. But they just decided, no, let's just give these dogs a bone. That's all. Just chew on this, change the narrative, and be quiet, please. We want to continue on down the path we have decided to go on. The path that is tanking this IP, the path that is destroying this entire industry. We don't care. We are going ahead with it. And when you complain enough, we won't stop going in that direction. But maybe we'll give you a bone. You know, there you go. Just chew on that and be quiet. That's really what this tells me. And it's a scary thought. Because now I know, especially after the whole outrage that happened with, again, the announcement of the new Star Wars director. Now I know for a fact that they do hear the fans. They clearly hear the fans. They see the outrage online. They understand that. It's getting to them. They are not in this bubble, in this echo chamber where they can't hear any other voice. It is actually getting through. The messaging from the fans who are angry and unhappy is getting to them. But the scary thought is they do not care.
They don't care.
And they do not care to the point of, even when they can see that financially this is going to negatively impact our brand, our company, they still go ahead. I mean, really think about that. What they should have done, if they cared more about money than ESG or DEI, right? They would have said, after the outrage, they would have said, you know what, we apologize, we heard you. We're going to reassess whether or not we should go ahead with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy being the director, or maybe we should go with someone like Bryce Dallas Howard or Deborah Chow. That's actually what they should have done. But they don't do that. Instead, what they do is, oh no, let's give them 2 announcements. So we're going to spend more money on movies that we're probably not going to announce, movies that were probably not going to happen. Now we're just going to announce them. Here's the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And here's Ahsoka Season 2. They're going to spend money on that. But they're willing to do that so that they can keep going down the path of, we have decided we're going to have Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy as the director of Star Wars, and we're going to go ahead with this movie, this Rey movie that nobody asked for. So they know very well that the fans are angry. So likely that movie is going to lose money, but they're still doing it. But to top it off, to save the fact that they want to do that movie, they're willing to spend more millions on a Mandalorian movie. They're willing to spend more millions on an Ahsoka Season 2 just so that they can keep doing that movie that they want to do. It's a scary thought. For me, it tells me that, hey, these people might actually truly, well, not all of them, but some of the people might really be bought in on these ideologies. They really might be on this DEI juice, and it is everything for them. And they are willing to burn the Star Wars IP to the ground. They are willing to burn Star Trek IP to the ground. They're willing to burn you name it IP to the ground in order to infuse it with that messaging. It's more important than keeping even their jobs. It's more important. It's a possibility now. For me, when I saw everything that has happened since the announcement of Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy as the new director, to them giving the fans like a bone to chew on. Hey, here's a Mandalorian movie. Hey, here's a Ahsoka season 2. For me, that just spells out that they do hear the fans, but they are still doing whatever the hell they want to do, because ultimately they don't care about the fans, and they are dedicated to the point of financial ruin. They are dedicated to these ideologies. Now, which Hollywood exec is like that? Which director is like that? Obviously, the most obvious one is probably Kathleen Kennedy. But how many more executives in Hollywood are like this? How many more directors and scriptwriters are like this? It's a very scary thought. And there's an open letter that recently got released by a writer who was part of the WGA for like 20 years now. And he talked about how when people are meeting to discuss stories now, the actual story, the actual dynamics of the characters and the interplay and all those things that are to do with the story are not really being discussed. Instead, people are saying, what can we say with this? What's the message we can imbue in this piece of entertainment in order to say something? That's what they're talking about. Instead of the actual story, instead of reaching the fans, instead of pleasing the fans, they're not talking about that. And this attitude that you're seeing from this open letter highlighted by this writer is what you're seeing from the execs, and the execs seem to be opening the doors for these people to come in, which makes me wonder, what if these people really do care? I mean, to the point, again, of financial ruin. They are just so obsessed with this DEI stuff. They don't even care about these companies. It is a thought that scares me and anyone who's a fan of entertainment, that you have a bunch of extremists and disciples that have entered Hollywood and are now in control of some of the big IPs in Hollywood, and they are willing to burn that whole industry to the ground in order to make sure that that DEI message gets through to everyone, even if it means destroying an entire industry, an entire beloved industry. It is crazy. It's just a crazy thought, and it's a scary thought. And when you look at what's happening in Hollywood, it's increasingly likely that that's actually what's really going on.